On a recent episode of the Wayspotters podcast, my dad said this on purpose.
While it's not 100% Wayfarer related, it is 100% Wayfarer adjacent. Hello and welcome, agents, trainers, keepers, pilots, eighth wallers, scouts, and our beloved explorers and wayfinders. Welcome to episode number 219 of the Wayspotters podcast. Here at the Wayspotters podcast, we want to do everything to help you become a better wayfinder. As we've always said, we want to educate, entertain, and excite. Wayspotters is brought to you by the good people at the Pokemon Professor Network and our friends at Pickaxe. Today is March the 26th, 2026. I'm Jamal, and I am here with my good buddy, Professor Glaw, aka Chris. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, buddy. How you doing?
Doing okay. I'm making it. It's been a busy week. Not as busy as your week, but it's been a busy week. I've been between a couple different offices, so it's been a busy week. What about you?
It's been busy. It's been a change. Like, I've gone from having a 10-minute drive to work to driving an hour to work. So it's been a bit of an adjustment. It's like an hour to work and an hour and a half home just because of traffic and stuff. But It's good. It's so good. Like, I love this job so far. I haven't even been there a full week, and I'm like, I'm going to live here the rest of my life. So
that's awesome.
I love it.
That's great. That is amazing. Well, we got a kind of an interesting show this week. We'll see where it goes. But we do have some news. The only bad thing about our news is by the time people are hearing this news, the news is already over. But we're going to talk about it anyway. So let's go to the news.
And now, the latest Niantic, Spatial, and Scopely news from the Wayspotters podcast, presented by the Pokemon Professor Network.
Only got one thing, really. The Wayfarer Ambassador applications are finally open. It's almost April. We made jokes like almost a month ago about how they were just going to drop it right before one of our shows, and we were going to scrap the whole show, and then they finally dropped the applications. So they are open from... I've applied. I hope everybody else out there gets to apply. They are open until March 29th, 2026 at 11:59 p.m. PST. So that is Sunday. So if you are listening to this...
So by the time you're hearing this...
Yes, if you're listening to this on Sunday, you will have time to apply. So stop, pause the podcast, go apply, and then come back and listen to the rest of the show. If you're listening to this on Monday or after that, you've missed it. So
you're done. So fun fact, the show drops at midnight Pacific Standard Time. So you literally have 23 hours and 59 minutes from the time the show drops until the time's application closes. So if you're hearing this on Sunday, more reason why you should listen to the show on Sunday when it drops.
Yes, absolutely. So just real quick, eligibility, any Wayfarer in good standing over the age of 18. Any Wayfarer who's completed 1 year in alumni status, that's standard. And any
must
Wayfarer
be an English speaker.
Must be an English speaker or be able to speak English at least. And you can't have any terms of service violations within the last 365 days. That's pretty much it.
All right. So hopefully we have a fantastic new crop of Wayfarer ambassadors. Not Pokemon Go ambassadors, but Wayfarer ambassadors. And remember, And remember, when you become a new ambassador, you can come on the show anytime you want. All you have to do is ask. And don't worry, I will ask for you. All the ambassadors know that I've asked. And we've had almost all of the primarily Western US, Canada, primary English speakers, even going back to season 1 when we had some Australians and some Latin Americans on. So we managed to wrangle a couple ambassadors every year. So
I was just going to say, I think we've had an ambassador on every season.
Yeah.
So far. So, and I think we've got a couple of folks who have already been on the show who will probably end up as ambassadors,
Yes.
continuing our
That's
streak of having ambassadors on.
that's right. Yeah. I still remember poor Agent X knew he was an ambassador and he was coming on the show, and because of NDA, he couldn't say anything. And I was thinking, I remember watching it back going, Agent X was being really quiet. He wasn't normally as talkative as he normally is. He was trying not to spill the beans. And of course, we would never, ever ask an ambassador go out to betray their NDA. So in some of our chats, Chris, you've even seen this the other day, I'll say something and I'll say, if you're an ambassador, do not respond to my comment, because I don't want you to
Yeah.
I'm like, everybody else can speculate, but if you're an ambassador, do not respond to my comment. So
and that's the thing, right? Like we've had so many ambassadors on before that if any new ambassador is even a little bit leery about us asking NDA-ish questions, you can just ask any one of the ambassadors. We create questions and we send them to you like a week in advance so that you've got any time to say, hey, I am not going to answer that question. And we're like, fine, that's fine. We don't care. Right.
Yep.
So.
Oh, and to tease, Chris, we are going to have a Pokemon Go ambassador on the show coming up soon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's in the chat. I don't know if you've seen it because you were dealing with your computer problems, but I've been communicating with the Pokemon Go ambassador who is going to come on. They got clearance to talk about what I wanted to talk about.
Oh, nice.
So they got the clearance today. And so we're going to have a Pokemon Go ambassador on the show in the upcoming weeks to talk about campsites, how campsites are made, what are campsites, how will they be used, how will they affect Wayfarer, all of that stuff. So stay tuned. We'll give you guys plenty of notice when that show's coming up, but that'll be a fun show once that happens. So with that, let's go to topic number 1.
This is Elf from Space, and I spot topic number 1.
All right. So topic number 1, Chris, is I want to call it the state of Wayfarer. Where are we now? And I've got a question for you. And I think this is a rhetorical question, or maybe this is just old man get off my lawn question. But should Wayfarer be hard again versus is Wayfarer better when it's easy? So to kind of unpack that, I've got kind of a pro and a con, because there's been a lot of chatter on the forums by longtime people and by new people. There's, for one, Chris, there's been an inordinate amount of people first time posting on the forum. I think you see it if you're on the forums. Just like people are coming in droves. This is the first time so-and-so has been on the forum. Welcome them to the community. And we have a lot of people asking a lot of newbie questions. And what it's doing is it's bringing up, there was a post on there the other day. Someone said, my POI has been in voting for 7 days. Can you guys do an investigation and find out what's going on? And I almost fell off my chair. We've talked about this. I've had POIs have birthdays. And I think one of the ambassadors or someone who's a longtime poster tried to like educate this person on like 7 days. Like, you don't even look for the first 2 weeks once it goes into voting, because it's just so. And that kind of got me thinking, have we made it too easy for the new people that they don't have an understanding of what some of us have been through? Now, I know that kind of sounds like gatekeeping, and, you know, should gatekeeping come back? But, you know, it's like, it's not like we shot the basketball into the peach bucket and had to get on the ladder and get the ball out to go down the other way. But I mean, there was, right? And nowadays, you know, they're on the good hardwood and they got nets. But I mean, there's some of us, Chris, that did go through a lot to get where we are now. And have we made it too easy? So my first point that I want you to comment on, I said, should gatekeeping come back, given that some of these English agents are kind of crawling back to us? So there's been chatter on the forum that the quality has dropped, that POIs are getting approved that shouldn't. I've seen this a lot. People are like, oh, you're lucky you got that approved, and that really didn't, you know, blah, blah, blah. We've got runaway voters. That was almost the title of the episode, was runaway voters, but I thought that might have been a little too clickbaity. but so what do you think about the chatter that the quality is dropped, that POIs are getting approved that shouldn't get approved?
This is kind of I think we have to. I think this is just the new way of landscape of Wayfarer is that the gatekeeping Ingress people are gone. And now you've got the need more stops Pogo people who have kind of taken over, and I think this is just what's going to happen, right? I think that Niantic's going to the Wayfarer team is going to have to either loosen up their removal requirements, or we're just going to have to eat the fact that sometimes questionable stuff's going to make it onto the board, right? And because I think, to your point, it is easier now. And I think we all saw this coming. Because it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody.
Right.
Like when that article broke a little while ago when they were like, oh, Niantic Spatial is using your data to create AR maps for AI robots. And people were like, yeah, duh.
Yeah.
They said that they were going to do this. And then people are all up in arms. And Ken and Adam talked about that AI video with the Pikachu flying, and it was just that's terrible. But like, this is the same thing. Like, if you are at all paying attention to the way that Wayfarer goes and the way Wayfarer has gone over the last couple of years, I think that you had to have seen this coming. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing.
I don't. You know me. You know where I'm coming from. I'm trying to play this down the middle because I think I called for the criteria to be loosened up a long time ago. But what happened, Chris, is the criteria didn't loosen up. But and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I approve of voting rings. But what I think has happened is communities have said to themselves, hey, I want more things on the map. So I'm going to look at this through my own lens versus what the criteria says. And I'm going to approve this. And I think the biggest one we have is neighborhood signs, right? Now, it's one of those things where neighborhood signs wouldn't have been a big deal if people didn't make it a big deal. Mm-hmm. When people were so vociferous, there's my big word for the episode. When people were so vociferous against neighborhood signs, it made people in the communities go, why are you so against that? You know what? I'm going to go nominate mine. And then I'm going to log on and vote. And when I see one, I'm going to vote to approve it. It's one of those, if people had just minded their own damn business and let it go, we wouldn't have the issues that we had now. It's kind of like pools back in the day. Everybody blew pools up on the forum, and then it became a problem. So I've got another point on that later, but that's my thing, is I think that the criteria didn't loosen up, communities loosened up, and they decided this is now only Pokemon Go, and we want more Pokestops. God forbid what your criteria says. We're not going to go against your criteria, but we are going to vote for what we want. And the old school people, me included, you included, are like, back in my day, we wouldn't have approved that, but like we're outnumbered now by the people who want that on the map.
Yeah. And I honestly think that we're going to get to a point where, sure, some stuff that's meh, borderline, it's going to get through, but we're still not going to see the stuff that's absolute trash, right? Like, the Wayfarers who are participating in the system at least have enough respect, most of them, at least have enough respect for the game board to say that graffiti symbol on that trash can in your yard is still not eligible, right? But that neighborhood sign, sure, that's eligible. I think that's eligible. And, you could debate that all day long. You're never going to consensus. Niantic's, the Wayfarer team's never going to give us general guidance on it. I've completely flipped my stance on them. Mostly because of you've convinced me, but it's I just think the community as a whole is just kind of treating a lot of this as this is fun again. And If I'm having fun and I'm in a good mood, I'm more likely to approve things that if I'm in a bad mood, I'm looking at things going, no, I'm a curmudgeon and I'm grumpy, so I'm just going to reject things that are borderline. But if you're in a good mood and all of your stuff's getting approved, you're going to pay that forward and vote favorably on things that you might not earlier.
I have an analogy for that. It's kind of like riding a bicycle. Your right foot goes, and then your left foot goes, and then your right foot goes, and your left foot goes, and you've got motion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that's hard to stop that motion because it's just that centrifugal force. So when you nominate something, the right foot goes down, then you go and review, and you're like, oh, that got approved, and there's the left foot, and then the right foot. So you go out and nominate more, and more things get approved. And it's like you said, you're in a good mood, and it's like, this is going well. But think of it this way. I Love Lucy, right? You remember the classic show, I Love Lucy. You're old enough to remember that. Maybe not the black and white ones, because I remember the color ones. But anyhow, the scene with Lucy and the conveyor belt, and the conveyor belt starts backing up, and she's putting cookies in her mouth, or putting the candies in her mouth and putting them down her shirt. Do you remember that scene?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's kind of how Wayfarer was. Everything was backing up, and nothing was going through, so people weren't having any fun because they were like trying to grab these candies off the conveyor belt, and they couldn't do anything with it. Now it's like the conveyor belt is smooth and it's going. But there's a lot of people that don't. I just saw your note. There's a lot of people that don't like that, right? They want to have the criteria as the criteria. And I don't even think it's gatekeeping. I just think they just want to say, hey, look, Niantic gave us his rule book, guys. Let's follow the rule book. Let's not follow the rule book. So I don't think they're gatekeeping. They're just like, okay, they loosened it up and they said, here's the rule book. Stay between these lines. And some people are like, But then again, Chris, I feel like in some parts of the world, Wayfarer and Pokemon Go are harder. Because I think the people who follow the criteria to the T aren't having as much fun as, say, Charlotte, North Carolina, where things go through really quickly and we've got awesome places to play and everybody is happy and everybody's patting me on the back and I'm like, hey man, I didn't do it. I showed you guys how to do it and you guys have taken it over. I go to certain parts of town and there's halos everywhere and I didn't touch not one of them. But everyone's like, if you hadn't helped me, and I'm like, you know what? That's what I do. I'm a helper. But Chris, the flip side of that. So if there's too many mid-tier / low-tier approvals leading to new Wayfinders thinking that ineligible POIs are eligible, is that a problem?
No. Okay. I legitimately don't think so. I think that... Okay. Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay. The way I was thinking about it was when we see people on the forum and say, well, I saw this down the street and I saw this 2 towns over, so I nominated the fire hydrant here because I saw one there. So your perspective is just follow the criteria.
Yep.
And, okay.
I mean, it's no different than it was before, right? Like it's not something that's new and it's not something that's going to change. And I think if people are following the criteria and people are paying attention, then it is what it is, right?
Yep.
I think that to a certain extent, some of this stuff could potentially start to run away with itself. Like I think neighborhood signs did. Like you get enough of them on the map and all of a sudden they just kind of gain their own momentum and now they're everywhere. But like that's something that's borderline. And I think if it's crap enough, they'll just get reported, removed, and we won't have to worry about it.
So I want to touch on that before we get too far away about removals. And I'll just throw the nugget out there for you. So there's been a lot of chatter on Reddit. And I've been digging I don't want to say I've been dipping my toes back in Reddit. Then I got reported again for something I shouldn't have got reported on, but that's neither here nor there. But there's been a lot of chatter on Reddit about people. What was I don't think I sent this to you. They said it was voyeur removals, that people were just, they were trying to find the ability to scan the planet and remove something that they thought should be removed, as opposed to leaving the removals to the people who are local,
right?
Who know the context of it. And that's one of the things I want to talk about it a little bit, because on one hand says if it's not eligible in Charlotte, it shouldn't be eligible in Oshawa. But on the other hand, it's kind of like the example of the NASCAR checkered flag crosswalk.
Yep.
Is something that would not be eligible anywhere else other than maybe Daytona or Talladega or Bristol. But people here get it and understand why it is. So, that term, that kind of voyeur removal, like, what are your thoughts on that?
I genuinely don't understand why people would spend their time searching a map that they don't use to remove stuff. Like, I'm going and cleaning up my area, right? And I'm going to kind of radiate out a little bit to other areas that I play, but I'm just going to do areas that I play. I'm just going to clean up the map that I'm in so that when I'm doing my nominations, I don't have 700 things on the nearby that are just clogging up my map. Like, and 90% of the stuff that I'm removing is stuff that doesn't get used anyway. And it's just duplicates, or it's stuff that's like Bob's furniture building, and it's just a thing that he added to Google Maps for his company that existed for 2.5 months in 2021. You know what I mean? Like, it's just stupid stuff.
Yeah, I do.
But, like,
so there was go ahead.
I don't understand why people would go around and actively try and remove Pokestops from play areas that it's like, who hurt you? You know what I mean? Like,
yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. So there was an ambassador alum that was like hell bent on getting something removed from somewhere in California, and I don't believe this ambassador alum is anywhere near California. And Aaron or Oren or LC or one of them shut him down a couple times. Like, stop it. Like, this does not meet our criteria for removal. And that ambassador alum wanted to like post about it 4 or 5 times and what to be doing. And I wanted to post that meme, but I knew it was going to be it was just bad. My thought was I wanted to post the meme, show me on the doll where this POI hurt you. That's the meme I wanted to do. Because it's like, you are 1,000 kilometers away from this POI. You'll probably never see it. You'll probably never spin it or interact with it. What is it hurting you if it's on the map and it's gray and it's borderline and it's somewhere in California and you're 1,000 kilometers away or 1,500 kilometers away? That's what I don't understand. But then, Chris, it's one of those things, if it's not eligible, it's not eligible. But I think that should be up to the local people to remove it, not me going on to Lachlan's area in Brisbane, Australia, and I'm in Charlotte and start removing things in Brisbane. I just don't think that's appropriate.
If Niantic doesn't care enough to be proactive to remove it, why should you?
Yeah.
Right? Like, and like, I get it. Saying that, I know that Niantic won't necessarily go and remove stuff, but there's certain things that if Niantic catches wind of, they will remove it. Like, they don't have to wait for someone to report it. They will remove it. And we know that firsthand because we've pointed them in the direction of certain things that were blatant abuse, and they've gone,
we sure have.
We'll take care of this, right? And like, we only kind of have to nudge them in the right direction. But then again, there's certain things that even if they are reported, Niantic goes, well, that doesn't meet our qualifications for removal, so we're not going to remove it. And at the end of the day, when they look at you and say, no, we're not going to do that, you have no other choice than to drop it.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
You could argue it a
They've
little
spoken.
bit, and for the most part, Niantic's pretty good about hearing out arguments and stuff, and they have changed their minds once in a while. But like, when they put their foot down and they're like, no, we're not going to remove that. It's their map.
Exactly. I agree. Now, last thing. So I'm in Charlotte, and I'm going to bring a little sports into this just because I think for the people who understand sports will get this analogy. North Carolina Tar Heel basketball went out in the first round of the NCAA playoffs.
Crazy.
They fired their coach Hubert Davis, because they said the Carolina standard had dropped and the Carolina standard needed to be higher. So they're going to bring in a new coach who's going to hold up the Carolina standard. And when that happened, that got me thinking, what is the Wayfarer standard? And are we meeting it right now? So standards mean something. And right now, a lot of people see it as just need more stops. So this is a slippery topic. It could be a topic of its own whole show because the standard means something different to you than it does to me, than it does to my locals. So we host a Wayfarer podcast. We're intimately in this all the time. We're talking to people. We're doing things, blah, blah, blah. But if you take the average level 62 trainer who comes out and plays every community day and does raid hour, blah, 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 they're like, oh, new things to spin. They might not even know about Wayfarer or they have a passing understanding of Wayfarer. So the standard to them is just, I want more items on the map. I'm not really looking to see if that's really a statue there. It's a spinner to me. And there's more people out there than people who are listening to this podcast want to admit that see things just as a spinner, as opposed to us who are in it say there should be a statue there and there's not a statue there. And that's a problem. Somebody's else like spin, get my items and move on. They're not reading the description. They're not even looking at the picture. They most likely have this going and it's spinning and they're hand catching. Right? So they're not even aware that there's not a real world item there. So I get that. I still want things to have a physical representation, but where is our standard? And where should our standard be? And I think you're probably the more level-headed out of the both of us, so I'm going to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I mean, our standard needs to be the criteria, right? And then that has to be the Bible that we go by is what Niantic and Scopely and the Wayfarer team say that they want on the map. It's not, the problem is it's not black and white. There's a lot of things that are insanely vague in there. Like, hey, like there are 3 pillars. Is it a great place to explore? Is it a great place to exercise? Or is it a great place to be social? That is open up to all sorts of interpretation. And that is something that makes Wayfarer absolutely amazing and absolutely frustrating at the same time.
Yes.
Right. And like someone on the forum I read today was like, hey, this got rejected for not being culturally significant. What changes do I need to make to this nomination to get it approved? And it was a great post, and it was worded, and there was pictures, there was everything they need, and it was like a water fountain, like a one of them pumps.
Yeah.
It was blue, it was generic, and someone was like,
Yep.
Nothing. It's done. You can't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You're dead in the water.
And like, I
literally, no pun intended.
To help you, but like you can't, right? But like that's the thing. They saw it and they interpreted it as something that was eligible when it wasn't. But that was their interpretation. It was, and that is something that can frustrate wayfinders and make them happy at the same time when other people agree with their assertion that this is one of the 3 right. I just think that at this point in Wayfarer's life cycle, the people who have been doing this long enough know.
Right.
You can look at something and you know whether other people will agree with you or not, whether Niantic will agree with you or not. That's where the thing is. But I think that at the core of Wayfarer, the criteria needs to be the guidelines that we are following. And it's just that we need to let that guide us through this transition period that we're in from old Wayfarer to new Wayfarer.
Right. Now, I, at some point in the year of our Lord 2026, am going to go on a crusade. And I know it's a crusade that I'm going to go into battle and I'm going to get slaughtered. like the Christians and the lions in the Roman Colosseum. I'm just going to go in and get slaughtered. I'm going to lose, but I'm going to fight the good fight. So let me ask you a question, Chris. What are the 3 criteria again?
Great place to be social. I said good place. Great place to be social. A great place to exercise. And a great place to explore.
Now, disc golf. Does that meet, if I'm performing the act of disc golf, does that meet any of those 3 criteria?
I would say that it probably meets 2.
Right. There was a post on the forum where they removed everything on a disc golf course, just removed it all. If the criteria, now I'm going to use this back on the gatekeepers. If the criteria is the Bible, and I can make a legitimate, not a Jamal case, but like a reasonable person's case, right? That disc golf meets 2, I could even argue 3, but I can give you 2 of the criteria. Why are we excluding disc golf? Because it is a great place to exercise. Have you ever disc golfed?
I have.
You work up a sweat, my guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great place to be social. The disc golf course at my park kind of runs through, and those guys run in groups. They're having a great time. You're exploring. The first time I played disc golf at my park, I saw parts of my park that I had never seen before. I was exploring my tail feathers off. So I'm not going to go on the crusade today, Chris, but I promise you before the end of the year, I'm going to type out a whole show on why disc golf meets criteria, and it should be in there. Because if we go by the 3 criteria, it's hitting 2. Anyhow, leave that alone.
So,
all right.
Your problem is not necessarily disc golf, because disc golf courses are eligible. You want every single hole to be eligible, right? So let's clarify that. You want every single hole to be eligible.
Well, I don't want every single hole because pigs get fed and hogs get slaughtered. I'm not looking for every single one. Like I said, I'm gonna lay it out so nicely that I'm gonna lay it out for the reasonable person to understand.
I can't wait for that show.
I'm gonna go out and do some research. I'm gonna do some interviews. I'm gonna go and walk the disc golf. I'm gonna go to 2 different disc golf. And I'm going to walk and I'm going to talk to people and I'm going to see if I get hit by a disc when I'm standing at a tee box. I might even do video. I'm okay. Leave it alone. I don't want to tip too much of it. This will probably be a post GoFest show. All right. Now, Chris, some people would say that this is the best that Wayfarer has ever been. It's faster, which equals a healthier system. It encourages nominators. It encourages reviewers. You're kind of getting that hit of dopamine. Do you think this is the best Wayfarer has ever been? Outside of that day that all the Pokemon Go people first got into it and like it was like Christmas.
I honestly think that's even better than that. Because you've got 40 nominations. Like back then you only had 7. And like you would burn through 7 in a day and then you were waiting a week to get all 7 back, right? And that sucked. It's easier to get things through. You've got all these nominations. You have a Wayfarer forum with a Wayfarer team that is amazingly active and interactive with the community, and you've got a team at Niantic that is not only willing to make mistakes, they're willing to admit their mistakes. They've changed their minds on a few things, but they're also very diligent about what they do. They're very thorough with what they do. And you've also got 2 cohorts of Wayfarer ambassadors every single year on those forums helping the community. And you've got Niantic putting campsites for Pogo onto the map to help people build up their areas and to get people interested. And you've got Niantic's doing stuff in rural communities to help with the Pogo map. And I get that's Wayfarer adjacent. It's not really Wayfarer, but it's
Right.
one of the biggest complaints about Wayfarer. So if they can stop that, I just think we're in the golden age of Wayfarer right now.
I don't disagree. So more inclusion, less elitism, and it kind of beats the allegations that Wayfair is not for everybody.
Yeah.
Now, there's still some of that out there, right? But
Yeah.
most of that is a Pogo problem. It's not a Wayfarer problem. But Wayfarer gets kind of dumped on. Anything that's wrong is Wayfarer's problem. It's never the Pokemon Go team's problem.
Yeah.
But I think Wayfarer does beat the allegations that it's not for everybody because everybody can participate. And the people who feel the most marginalized, if those people were to participate more, it would make it better.
Mhm.
Those people who say, I have nothing around me for kilometers and kilometers, if we could get them to go out and walk and find stuff, I find more stuff just walking. And
Mhm.
I've lived in this area for damn near 20 years, and I'll walk and I'll go, huh? Like, how am I after 7 years of doing nominating? I don't remember how long, 6, 7 years. 6, 7, I said it. Of nominating things. How am I still finding things 2 kilometers from my house? It's not new. I've just never walked there. And
Yeah.
if people who feel marginalized, people who are in rural areas, get out and walk, they are going to find things to nominate. It might not be a couchy, but it might be, a brisk walk away. But I think Wayfair can firmly say it's for everybody.
Yeah. And like we've got a map.
Yes, we've got a map.
We have a
And
map.
it's a good map.
It's a great map. I found 35. I'm up to 35 things that I need to nominate in the spring that I've discovered just from the map.
That's wild.
Right.
35.
Like there's a baseball diamond down the street from me. It's not in the game.
Oh,
I've known it was there. I've known it's been there for 47 years, maybe 40. 47 is a long time. 42 years, like a long time.
Right.
And I just assumed it was on the map. So I happened to get to that area to start removing stuff that's bullcrap off. And I'm like, wait a minute. There's no pin near this baseball diamond. So I'm clicking maybe it's over here. Nope. Add it to the list. And as soon as the ground isn't 6 feet of mud, I'm going to go out there and nominate it. And it's in its own cell. And it's going to create a gym.
Nice. Wow, that's a perfect thing. All right. So the system was broken before because voters took the criteria into their own hands and away from the spirit of the game. I think we are past those days where the conventional wisdom said and I think this was probably English people, just reject everything. Just reject everything, and that's how you get upgrades. And I remember there was a time where that was the wisdom that was given out the more you reject, the faster you'll get upgrades because everybody's rejecting things. And I think then it pivoted, the pendulum swung to the other side where everybody was just approving everything. And then I think it kind of went back. And I think we're probably, if this side is deny everything and this side is approve everything, I don't think we're in the middle. I think we're leaning slightly towards approve more things and deny more things. But as the guy on the podcast who's always said, I review to approve, not review to deny, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yep. I am too. Because I'm seeing stuff pop up on the map that's near me, and I haven't once in the last 6 or 7 months looked at anything that's got a halo and gone, yeah, I wouldn't have approved that. Right. Or what's that doing there? Or looked at something and thought about trying to remove it. Right? So I don't think we're hitting that line.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, that is topic number 1. Let's go to topic number 2.
I wonder what topic number 2 is going to be.
Okay, so topic number 2, I kind of talked about this a little bit last topic, is I'm going to call this Get Off My Lawn. What does local mean? So local knowledge matters versus is global reviewing better? So now this is going to go for reviewing, removal, everything, right? on one hand, we have only locals should review. So context matters. When something is actually publicly accessible, if the spot has safe pedestrian access, if it's in a restricted or sensitive location like private property, school, nuisance, or whether it's a duplicate under another name. One half of the, or maybe 55%, 45% says this is why you don't upgrade things, because only a local, someone who's in your city, is going to know these things. Someone who's reviewing from Germany is not going to understand the local rules on little free libraries and whether it's private property or not. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think we're almost getting to a point where upgrades might be viable again. Because I think that we're kind of like that pendulum is swinging and skewing itself to approve now.
Right.
I think a lot of that stuff that might have been local only previously, I think you might be able to get away with. Now, there's certain things that if like it's really culturally relevant to your area and your area is kind of like niche, so like stuff that's in the South, you wouldn't want to upgrade that and have people from New York or kind of look at it and go, I don't know what the hell that is. You'll have a little bit of that.
Give you an example. Like the post boxes in the UK.
Yes.
They've worked it out to where the Queen Elizabeth II ones are not eligible, but anything older than Queen Elizabeth II is eligible. I don't know. A king, a queen, a prince, a princess. I wouldn't know. I mean, I would look at it and go, oh, that's a mailbox. Like, okay, what's special? So I don't know the local nuance. I mean, from being on the forums, I get it. But if I was not a person on the forum and I saw that, I would think that's a mailbox. And we've been taught that mailboxes are not eligible. So that's an example for you.
Yeah, that's a good example. It was interesting to watch kind of in real time that happen, that community kind of come to that consensus, and then every once in a while it gets posted on the forums and everyone's like, no, this is the rule, this is what we say. And like if I were to get one of those reviews, I would look at it and go, I remember reading something about this, I have no idea, Skip. I'm not gonna.
Wait a minute. Was King Charles, and it's kind of like, then I got to open up the history, go to history.com and Google the name of the king and see what year they presided. And
I'm not happy.
Cultural understanding is my next bullet point. Whether a spot is a true gathering place, whether it's actually popular / meaningful versus just there, and local landmarks that don't translate well on to others. Now, we can also throw restaurants in there as well. And I know you're pretty passionate about restaurants, as opposed to upgrading a local restaurant, not upgrading a local restaurant, telling a good story. It's one of the reasons why I say maybe that's something that only locals should review. If you were reviewing in Charlotte and you saw a restaurant, you might not know that used to be a food truck and now they finally got their own brick and mortar and everybody loves it and everybody leaves the bar and goes to this place and it's just one of those places. If the submitter didn't do a good job of explaining that in the description of the supplemental.
Yeah, for things like that, I think that falls on the submitter. Like if you're not doing a good enough job, then that's on you, right? But to a certain extent, I sometimes will nominate restaurants in my area and I'll say, hey, this is a restaurant that's not typically found in this area, and it is the only restaurant of this food type in the area. And I know that my locals will know that. They will know that area, and they will say, yeah, I know that is the only place to get shawarma, or I know that is the only place I can go to get this, right? Like kebabs or whatever. But like if someone from Alberta were to review that, they would go, Yeah, but those are like a dime a dozen in my area. Like, there's 15 of them around the corner, so clearly there must be 15 around your corner too. You're lying to me, reject. Right?
Yep.
So, like, geographically, that should be a local only thing to me because the people know that area and they know that when I'm saying things that it's true.
Now, for me, Chris, I think the strongest argument for local only reviewing comes to fraud and abuse detection. So fake nominations, pins that are moved or incorrectly placed, generic objects being passed off as unique, and photos pulled from the internet. So if someone was nominating something in Oshawa and they say, hey, here's this park, and you're looking at it and you're like, there's not a park there. That's a neighborhood. I might not know that, not being from the area, but you're going to be able to put eyes on that. Like if I see something in Charlotte, like I'm like, nah, that's something, nah, I need to look into this. But I would never know what to investigate in your area because I'm not local.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I have on more than a handful of occasions seen a review and looked at it and been like, I drove by that yesterday. That is not there. Right? And like
the gazebo, like your gazebo.
The gazebo. I'm like, I know for a fact that is not there. And someone nominated the gazebo thing at my work. And I'm like,
right.
I got the review and then I literally got up, went for break and looked outside and I was like, yeah, that's what I thought. It's not there. And I snapped a picture of it. Right? Like it's just, if you're absolutely hyper local, then you're going to catch stuff like that. Whereas if you're not, some of these fakes are done good enough that they would fool people who are not from the area.
They're really good. Right. So that brings to the other side of the coin. So is global reviewing the future, right? So what are some of the pros when it comes to global reviewing? The obvious one is faster decision times. There's some areas that are overloaded with nominations and some areas have almost no reviewers. So global reviewing could distribute the workload instantly. Just like when we have the global reviewing challenge, things get resolved in a frenetic pace. There's my second big word of the episode, because you have more eyes on it. It's like we speculated before when I got that review from Phoenix and the person who nominated is like, no, I didn't upgrade it. It's like it's a wider area. So it would be a way to get things on the map faster, but you might get fooled. So to use an old hockey phrase, every now and then something's going to slip through the 5-hole, right? But is that worth it to have global reviewing, to have the opportunity for things to move through faster? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I think the way that we are set up right now, I think is fine. I think that if they were to open it up any further than it currently is, then I think we'd be in trouble.
Okay.
I don't think things are going slow enough for them to look at tweaking it too much. Right? Like I'm getting stuff from British Columbia and Alberta, and that's pretty far away. I think
3,000 kilometers away.
Maybe 3,000 kilometers away, but I'm not getting American things. And
right.
I think that, and I don't know how it is in Europe. I would love to know if maybe I'll post this on the forums. I would love to know if anybody from Europe is getting stuff from further away, or if this weird country geo-blocking faraway logic thing that's happening is kind of unique to North America.
I wonder if they've got some geo locations like France and Switzerland get things, and like Germany and Austria and Belgium and like the countries that speak similar languages. They can geofence things however they want. But I wonder if there's some of that, and then Italy and Greece and Northern Africa, places that are kind of culturally similar. I mean, if I was going to geofence, that's how I would do it. I don't know how they were doing it, but that's what I would do. And then the English-speaking countries in Europe would be kind of geofenced together. But I don't know, so that's one thing. But I wanted to talk about does global reviewing reduce biases in gatekeeping? So you wouldn't have a territorial bias. People wouldn't be like, I'm protecting my map, I'm protecting my local area. And would people be actually more likely to follow the criteria versus personal opinions because it's not something they see every day? So they have to follow the criteria because they know, hey, this isn't right down the street, but this is X. And I have to look at X through the lens of the criteria.
I mean, maybe. I think that that's a good question. I think that people would get culturally confused if we start throwing too many different countries at them. Maybe I'm oversimplifying it. Maybe I'm kind of not giving Wayfarers enough credit, which is entirely possible.
Right.
But like if you've got, take Europe for example, like you've got so many countries smacked into the continent in such a small area, and they all speak so many different languages. It's Google Translate's going to get a workout, and if you don't accurately speak the language, and we all know, we've all been there, we've all tried to use Google Translate for something, and it spit out something that you're just like, I speak enough of that language that's not accurate, right? It's great for like 2 or 3 words at a time, but the second that you get into like paragraphs of stuff, it's just
right.
I worry.
And then if somebody throws some slang in there, then
yeah, like I worry that people would be like, no, I'm going to reject this because the grammar in this description is absolutely awful, when it's not.
Right.
It's just Google Translate doesn't understand Croatian grammar. You know what I mean? Like it's
right.
I don't know if the grammar in Croatian is different than English. That's my ignorance showing, but like that's just as an example. It doesn't. Languages that have different grammar than English, Google Translate does not do well. And this is like a known thing.
Now, I had another thought, and I didn't put this in the notes because this literally just popped into my head. What about if Niantic identified through your ranking, great, excellent, whatever the case may be, what if Niantic identified Wayfarers who could get a second bonus location, right? So you've reviewed 10,000 and, you know, whatever metrics you come up with, they've said you've got no strikes in the last 365 days. You reviewed X amount of POIs and you have a certain percentage of approve deny. If you meet those criterias, then you get a second bonus location. So that way, you know, you're a heavy, like you've been reviewing the heck out of stuff lately. So you meet this criteria. So you've got your home location, you got your bonus location. And now because you're an elite Wayfarer, put whatever name you want on it, you can get a bonus location. So instead of opening it up to the globe, now you've got a certain trusted amount of Wayfarers. And then if they fall below the threshold, then they lose their second bonus location. But now you could have, let's say you're in Charlotte for your bonus location. You could have your second bonus location be Scotland. Right? So now that alleviates the problem of you running out of reviews. And now you're helping out another area. And Niantic trusts you to do that because of your track record.
I like that idea. I really like that idea. They could call it like Wayfarer Elite, like some sort of airline rewards program.
Right.
Like review enough, get enough, you know, flight attendants to give you a thumbs up, and then all of a sudden you become a Wayfarer Elite and you get perks. You get like an extra upgrade, or you get like an extra appeal, and you get an extra bonus location. I think it's a great idea.
Maybe we'll float that on over to the people at Niantic and see what they think. I'm sure I'm not the first person in the world that's thought of that, but just kind of how the conversation was going, I'm like, you know what? Maybe global reviewing is not good, but if I knew the criteria to earn an additional bonus location, I would be more inclined. I'm not saying I'm not. I'm just talking about the royal we. If I was a Wayfarer and I knew in a 6 month, or let's say a quarter, January, February, March, April, May, in a business quarter, you had to review X amount of Wayspots, and you had to have certain other metrics. You had to nominate you, whatever it was. If I'm just Johnny Wayfarer, I would go and try to meet those qualifications for that quarter to unlock an additional bonus area. So what you're doing by gamifying it is you are getting people to adhere to the criteria, because they have to adhere to the criteria to earn the bonus location.
I think there's a big difference between global reviewing, sort of forced global reviewing, and selective global reviewing. Like if you're saying, if you're saying we want you to review another country far away, but we're going to let you pick what country that is, I can pick England or Scotland or Wales or the United Kingdom and say, hey, they speak English, like actual English. I understand actual English, not whatever we speak in North America that we call English.
Right.
But it's the same.
The King's English.
The King's English, right. But, and then like to your point earlier, like Germany and Austria, the same, right? Portuguese and Spanish isn't the same. Don't at me.
Similar.
It's similar. Similar enough that you could probably get by. Like, and if you were to choose to get by, like you could not use it. You could say, hey, I've earned it, but I don't speak any other languages well enough. I don't trust my translation abilities enough. Yeah. And that's fine.
It's like upgrades.
Right.
You get upgrades, you don't have to use them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You store 200 of them.
Exactly. All right. So last thing, reintroducing Emily. So Emily handles all the easy approval / rejections, and the humans get the edge cases. Do you think that would tip people? No, this is assuming they can remedy the problems that Emily had. They didn't tell us Emily had issues, but we know that people were tricking Emily. They were, things were slipping through the 5-hole. We know that. Yep. So assuming Emily was fixed, do you think the community could handle Emily kind of taking the 20% of easy ones, the 20% of coal, and just giving us the middle part?
I would have to be convinced that Emily could handle approving Wayspot nominations, given what happened previous to her being put in timeout for a bit.
Yeah.
I just think that it's far too easy for people to fake stuff well enough to get it through Emily. Mm-hmm. The rejections, sure, 100%. I'm on board. I am 100% on board. You can reject all that coal. Keep it out of my reviews. Right. And like the texts, sure, I'm good. The photos, because at least with the photos, and I had this conversation with someone, they were like, well, what's the difference between the photos and the Wayspots? Well, the photos, Emily at least has a reference. Be like, hey, I'm submitting this photo of this playground to this Wayspot of this playground. And Emily can go, cool, I have your picture and I have the current one. I can at least compare the two and say, this looks similar enough that I believe that this is the same playground. Here you go. And like, this is why I think, and this is why it came up, where someone was like, well, I did this and it got approved, and then I did this and it went into general voting. Well, like, okay, well, that playground's completely different. They tore this one down that is in the picture and they put up a new one. Yes, they're both playgrounds, but they are not the same playground. And Emily was like,
not the same.
They're not the same. Right. And like, they weren't.
No, you make a good
Emily was like, no, but it wasn't the same enough that Emily was like, yes. So she's like, I'm going to leave this to the peeps.
No, you convinced me. Right? No, you convinced me. Yeah, I was thinking about it different. You convinced me. It makes sense for Emily to get the coal out, then send everything to us. The way that I was thinking about it was, we don't really need upgrades right now, so you're just reviewing for the love of the game, essentially. But yeah, I'm with you. All right. You got anything else on that?
I don't know.
All right. Let's play the jingle. This is a fun one. We haven't done this before. I wanted to come up with something we hadn't done before. So let's play the jingle for One's Gotta Go.
gotta go. One gotta go.
One gotta go, y'all.
One gotta go.
Wait, one gotta go? Yeah, this one gotta go.
One's gotta go. One's gotta go. One's gotta go. One gotta go. 4 items to be on the list, but one gotta go.
Okay, so one's got to go this week is the potato edition, Chris. I can't believe we've never done this before. And kiss, chef's kiss. All right, so let's go ahead and take a break. We're going to play some dad jokes, and we'll come back on the other side of the break with Wayspots of the week and Coal of the week.
This is Darker Solstice, and you're listening to the Wayspotters podcast.
This is Elf from Space, and you're listening to the Wayspotters podcast, the podcast that brings a whole new meaning to the phrase, stop everything.
While you're waiting for your health to restore in Monster Hunter Now, you could be listening to the Wayspotters podcast.
Season 5 of Dad Jokes. You guys keep encouraging him. This is why we can't have nice things.
Why did Maya the Bee get a job at the PR agency? Because she was real good with the buzzwords. What do Jedi English teachers say to greet one another? Metaphors be with you. I told my friend I was thinking about becoming a professional sleeper. He said, that sounds like a dream job. I said, yeah, I've been training for this my whole life. I told my plants a joke. Now they're rooted in laughter. I told my dog a joke. He said it was rough. I told my wife I was going to start a new career in mirror cleaning. She said, what? I really can't see you doing that. I named my printer Bob Marley because it's jamming. All right, everybody, welcome back to episode 219 of the Wayspotters podcast. You've got Chris, you've got Jamal, and what we're going to do, Chris, is we're going to jump right into Wayspot of the week.
This is Sarah Amanda, and here's some Wayspotters approved points of interest.
Okay, so Wayspot of the week number 1 comes to us from Darker Solstice. Friend of the show, Darker Solstice, someone we're going to hang out with in Chicago, who's going to show us all around Chicago because they are native to the Chicagoland area. So I found it appropriate for us to pick this, So Darker Solstice sent us this, and it's called the world's largest soda fountain. Located inside the Nifty 50 restaurant, this neon LED mural is an eye catcher for customers. So, Chris, what you're looking at here is it's a soda fountain, which normally wouldn't be eligible, you wouldn't think, but it's got these neon decorations. It's got a globe on there, and it's got the soda bubbles, and it's in neon lights, and it kind of gives off that like 50s soda fountain. And it's got probably 18 to 20 flavors where you can go and, make your own flavors, but it's a really cool thing. Another way to get something inside of a restaurant approved, but being a soda fountain, it's just something very creative that I personally never really thought of. But I'm going to look when I'm in restaurants to see if they have kind of a cool soda fountain like this.
Yeah, this is I love the LED part. And I love the fact that it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 different flavors. That's crazy. Crazy.
30 different flavors.
Can you imagine making swamp water with 30 different flavors?
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm the guy that I never get just one flavor. I'm always 2 flavors. I'm usually a Sprite, a High C, a Fanta, and then top it off with a little Mountain Dew or something along those lines to kind of give me a little variation. So, we should come up with our own individual recipes.
Yes, absolutely. They have the movie theater here. They have those Coke machines that it's one machine with the one thing.
Yes.
And you can pick your different combinations.
You pick on the screen. Yep.
And my kids love
the freestyle, I think it's called.
Yeah. My kids love that machine because they can go in and they pick like 6 different things and it pours it out and they love it.
Yep. All right, let's go to Wayspot of the Week, number 2.
Here is a beautiful example of a Wayspot of the Week, which may or may not be a 2-story mural.
This one comes to us from Whooper Looper, and it is retirement, and then in brackets, is about exploring your wide open future. And this is a mural. Oh, it's German. I didn't even notice this. It's a mural created in 2024 by Hamburg-based street artist Lapis at the Stadthalle in Turgen. The work measures approximately 4 by 5 meters and was created using stencils and acrylic paint. So the description in German is... Actually, let me describe this while I mentally prepare myself for the German. At the top of it, it says, retirement is about exploring your wide open future. It's got a brown background and a bunch of lighter brown symbols. It kind of reminds me of like a Louis Vuitton bag, the way that kind of looks.
Yep, exactly.
It's got that kind of a pattern in the background. And then there is a picture of what looks like the painting of what looks like an elderly gentleman and like a dog, I think that's a dog.
Yeah, I think that's a dog.
It's like a dog in pink and they're kind of playing and this man is clearly enjoying his retirement. So it says, the description says 2024 Geschaffenes Wandbild des Hamburger Straßenbuchhändlers Lapis an der Stadthalle in Tübingen. Das Werk ist etwa 4 by 5 meters grob und mint. It's gorgeous. It's the German just makes it so much better.
So I reached out to Whooper Looper and they posted this in the Wayfarer discussion Discord, and I said, can you give me a translation on this? I'm going to have Chris read it. And they were excited that we were going to use it, and they knew about the bit that we used to do. Yes. And it wasn't even Kroner that set you up this time.
Yeah. I love how excited people get when you're just like, hey, I'm gonna make Chris read this foreign language. People are just like, yes.
They're like, yes.
Like, what do you
They're
want?
like, we're going to be listening as soon as it drops to hear how bad his pronunciation is. I love it when you read ones from Kroner and then he comes in the Discord and puts in there like critiques you on it. I'm like, I love it. It's so good.
I honestly think that it's all in good fun, and I actually kind of enjoy it a little bit. I don't want to admit that too many times, but you're right. I love it when Kroner or anyone else is like, hey, Chris, you did an admirable job. Or it's like they'll say something that's kind of like, it's kind of a compliment, but really not. You'd be like, you tried your best.
Yes, exactly.
Like, thanks.
Exactly. Well, let's go to somebody who did not try their best. Let's go to Cole of the Week.
I've been working on the Wayfarer all the live long day. I've been working on the Wayfarer just to pass the... Uh-oh. Oh no. Hey Jamal, I found some coal.
Okay, so this week's Cole of the Week comes to us from show historian Maddie G. And this one, Chris, again, we don't do this to poke fun at anybody. We do this for educational purposes only. And this one, I'm going to read the title of this POI. Jinx Fire Central Station. New local fire station is a description. And if you look at the picture, it is a fire station. So not only is this really bad, Chris, and I'll tell you why it's bad. A lot of people make the argument that, oh, it's the fire station, but it's the mural on the side of the fire station. It's not blocking emergency services. This picture is a picture of the door where the fire trucks drive out, and one of the doors is open, and you can look in there and clearly see there's another fire truck in there. So where this person is standing, they are blocking emergency services. That makes this even worse.
Yeah, and it's pinned like right at the fire station, so you can't get around this one. And like Niantic has been lenient about eligible objects that are fire station adjacent, like on the fire station's property, but far enough away that they wouldn't necessarily like realistically block the emergency. They are not lenient with things that are actually the fire station. They realistically don't care where you've pinned it. It's a fire station. It's not eligible, right? Because they don't want to open up that slope to be like, okay, well, that fire station's pinned over here, so that's fine, but this one's pinned over here, so it's not. Because then you have that argument, well, you say that anywhere the pin is on the thing, it's fine, right? And that's that's the line there, right? So if you're thinking about stuff that's fire station adjacent, not fire station, that's the line.
Correct. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You're 100% right. So Jinx Fire Central Station is cool. Sorry, guys. It's cool. You got anything else?
I do not.
I have one other thing that I want to say before we go. There is a young man who's probably 15, 14, 16 maybe. I don't know. Maybe younger. Definitely not older. Somewhere between 12 and 16. I met him on Randall's Island the first year of GoFest. And if you were at the first Randall's Island, you remember there was that really funky area where you had to stand and the cars were driving by like they were on a NASCAR track, just driving through the park so fast. Yep. And then they would like herd us across to go to the other side of the park. They fixed that in subsequent years, but that year was a disaster. And you lost signal when you were walking there and you walked under the bridge. Anyhow, I'm getting away from the story. There was a young man that was there. His trainer name was Stupid Buddies. STOOPIDBUDDIS. Okay. And he had one of those signs that, you know, it was like, I'm trading. I would like to trade this and I'm willing to give up this. And he wanted a armored Mewtwo, and everybody just looked at him and walked by because at the time, everybody had maybe one or two armored Mewtwo's. They weren't out. I think it was right after Detective Pikachu had come out, so you could get an armored Mewtwo, but it wasn't, you weren't like swimming in them. And he was standing there with his dad, and we were walking by, and I was like, what do you need? And he's like, an armored Mewtwo. And I was like, yeah, I got you. And his dad was like, really? I was like, yeah. It's armored. It's like, and I'm a Dex guy. I'm not like a living Dex guy. If I've got it registered in my Dex, that's good enough for me. That's just how I play the game. And so we went into the trade, and his dad was looking at my phone. He's like, you've only got one. You're going to give him your last one? I'm like, yeah, he's a kid. I'm like, I'm going to help him build his anti-villain arc. That's what I'm thinking in my head. Like, maybe he's going to become world champion someday because, you know, some middle-aged guy helped him with an armored Mewtwo. And his dad was like, can we like buy you lunch or something? I'm like, no, dude, it's all good. Like you're making this more of a big deal than it is. He needs this to complete his deck, so I'm gonna give it to him, and it's fine. So, we became friends, and we opened a gift, so we were good friends or whatever it is. And it cost a whole bunch of Stardust, but I've got hordes of Stardust. And I traded him the armored Mewtwo, and I went on my way and didn't think anything of it. And then I was telling people the story, and they were like, you gave him your last one? And I was like, yeah, he's a kid. I'm like, that's what this game is about. It's about, you know, the love of Pokemon and blah, 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 blah. So, Chris, and I've told you this before, that kid has sent me a gift every day since that first Go Fest in New York. He has religiously sent me a gift. And he's got a kid account. So I can't find him on Campfire. We can't interact, but he'll send me a gift, and I'll you know thumb it so he knows I saw it, and I'll open the gift. So just recently we became forever friends, and we set it up. We did the trade. I wish I could like talk to the kid. I didn't become friends with his dad, but he's got a kid account, so he's not on Campfire. So we became forever friends, and we did our lucky trade. Now, you want to bring that up on the screen real quick?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
And I traded him. I didn't snap the screenshot soon enough, but whatever he wanted, I traded it to him, and then he traded me a shiny Clodsire, however you pronounce it. But the cool thing about the story is, yeah, there it is right there, Stupid Buddies. And I tried to, I didn't take the picture in time, but go to the next picture. This was the cool thing. It turned into a shundo. So it's, that's not even the right screenshot. In post-production, I'll put it up there, but it turned into a shundo. So that was like total karma for me helping this kid out. When we did our forever trade, I got a lucky shiny hundo. So that just goes to show everybody the power of Pokemon. Do the right thing. Trade whatever you have to that little kid, because that could be the next world champion. That could be the new Ash. That Pokemon you're trading him could be the new Pikachu. I know I'm going way too much into the lore that I don't know what I'm talking about, but I was happy to do that trade for that kid, and I got a lucky shiny hundo 3 years later. So there you go.
I think it's absolutely hilarious that you became lucky friends with this random kid. Or sorry, you became forever friends with this random kid before we became forever friends. And
No,
that
right?
is 100% my fault. So I just think I said, what's funny is you posted that in the Discord in our group chat, and I was in the middle of typing, this is the karma paying you back for giving that kid an Armored Mewtwo and spending 800,000 Stardust on making that trade. And then you were like, yeah, this is really good karma. And I'm like, yeah, there you go. That's exactly what it was. This was the Pokemon gods being like, this is your reward. We have waited 3 years to pay this off, but here you go.
Yeah, man, I just felt good that I was able to help the kid, and hopefully I'll see him again. Like I said, he sends me a gift. He sends me a gift every day, and so does Philly Fisty, the guy that I was playing rock, paper, scissors with from one house to another in Philadelphia. He sends me a gift every day. But anyhow, we're running long. I'll go ahead and sign us off. That's going to do it today for another episode of Wayspotters. Now, we can't end an episode of Wayspotters without giving some love to the people who make this show possible. So first up is our incredible executive producer, Kate DeCons. You rock. A huge shout out to you and all of our amazing patrons. We love you, and we couldn't do this without you. And of course, we've got to give a shout out to our show historian, Maddie G, who's been keeping the record straight since day one. Actual day one, actually. We would also like to thank our gym leaders, Maddie G, Espeon Willow, KJ the Man, Herbert, Brandy, PJ, Fisher, JZE, and James. And we want to give a special shout out to Nene, who is our Elite Four patron. So there's 3 other spots if you want to be an Elite Four patron. But we want to give a shout out to Nene. We're going to see you in Chicago. I'm looking forward to seeing your dog, IRL. And we want to give another shout out to our executive producers on the network. Good Morning Johto is Monkey Bread. Lured Up is Xander. And Special Conditions is Tish Smith. Welcome back, Tish. And a special shout out to Borgia for being our Giovanni level supporter. How do you like your cool Giovanni logo? I think it's pretty cool. Now, if you liked what you heard today, here's how you can stay connected with us. Number 1, we're on social. You can follow us on Twitter at Wayspotters. We are on Instagram at Wayspotters Podcast, and we are on TikTok at I Make Wayspots. And for those of you who are following us on our socials, we post a piece of content each and every day. There is a piece of content on our socials every single day. We love interacting with you, so don't be shy. Come say hi. Number 2, check out our website, wayspotters.com. From there, you can download the episodes. You can send us a message or even shoot us an email directly from the website, and send us an email, wayspotters@pokemonprofessor.com. Number 3, we've got a hotline. I almost sang Drake, but then I changed my mind. So that's right. You can call us 704-426-3710. Leave a voicemail and you might hear yourself on a future episode of the show. Or if you're feeling brave, you can tweet us a message directly from Twitter. Now, some of you may be watching this on YouTube, and for those of you who are not, you can visit our YouTube page, www.youtube.com/@Wayspotters Podcast. And Chris, while the good people are there, what should they do?
Click like on this video, click subscribe if you really like this video, and then click the bell to be notified whenever we post a new video.
Number 4, if you want to support the show, the best way to do it is by joining the Pokemon Professor Network Patreon. For as little as $1 US a month, you'll unlock access to our Discord, where you can hang out with all of the fans and creators on the network and across all the shows. So that includes Special Conditions, Gotta Watch 'Em All, Purified Podcast, Good Morning Johto, Sleep It Off, After Darkrai, Lure It Up, and of course your favorite, Wayspotters. It's a fantastic community, and we would love to have you there. Now, finally, the simplest way you can help the show grow is to give us a rating on the app that you're listening to right now. 5 stars really helps the show, and if your podcatcher allows you to leave a review, do it. One of us will read it right here on the show. And that's all we've got for this week. We want to thank you so much for watching and listening and being the best part of the Wayspotters family. We will be back next week with more stories, more nominations, and more fun. And remember, what's a few meters between friends?